Today we're replacing tracks on a skid steer, Cat 259. Pretty much most skid steer tracks are the same, so you'll pretty much do this with any skid steer. Put some blocks underneath the back, then you'll lift up the front with the bucket. That'll give you enough clearance to remove the track. First, you want to loosen up that grease fitting right there. Then you'll use a come along to compress that cylinder, release that grease, and then you can start removing the track. So once you got all the slack out, it's gonna droop down like that. So it's gonna, they're heavy as hell. I think they're like 300 pounds. So it's gonna be hard getting it off of that idler. You're gonna take it off that first, then you'll take it off the back. You put a jack under it, jack it up. That'll give you slack and room so you can manhandle it and pull it off that front idler wheel. So once you jack it up, you see you'll have some space in there. You can just go in there by hand or try a pry bar. Get those first teeth over, and then you can do the same thing with the second row of teeth. And that's pretty much it. Then you can lower the jack, take this front part off. You'll get some slack back there. You can take it off that drive wheel, and then you can take it off that bottom one right there. If you don't have enough room on the bottom one, you could use a bottle jack up one side for a little bit, give you enough room. Now we got that track off. Now what we'll do is, since we have it off, we'll go in here and clean out all that dirt, clean it up, and then we'll start the install process. So you want to start with the back. We're gonna get it on that drive gear and that rear idler, and then we'll start working at the front. But first, what you want to do is pick it up, manhandle it, and set it on that outer lip right there, that drive gear. Then you can get these teeth wrapped around this back idler. I got these teeth to wrap around this idler wheel. Then grab this big pry bar, and I start prying up at the back of this, and we're gonna keep prying at it until we get the teeth on this gear to fall into these holes. So we got to make sure we get this track as straight as possible to get it over that gear. So I lifted it up and I set it on the lip of this just so it's pretty straight, and we'll keep prying at it until we get it on that. So now we got the teeth in between right there, but we have a whole bunch of slack back here. We got to get rid of that slack so we can put it on that front idler. So you can start hitting it or pulling it, prying it, and you'll get it to start on that idler. Now that we got everything pretty much lined up, we'll use the jack again to take up this slack. And as you jack it up, it'll start to bend over this front idler. See it sliding over the top end of it. All right, now you can push it over. I mean, it's not gonna go all the way, but it'll go up to the teeth. So now what we're gonna do, we'll probably put a block under this end right here to take up this slack. And we'll just grab a pry bar and start fishing these teeth over that idler wheel. So I took up the slack from right here, put the block under there, and then I also used the jack to take up more slack right there. I was able to get a pry bar in there and get the first set of teeth over that wheel. Now you just gotta do the same thing with the second set of teeth. You just gotta make sure these teeth are on the opposite side of those idlers, or it's not gonna work. So I gotta lower the jack, make sure those teeth slide over, and we'll be able to fish that side in. So I got those teeth pretty much on the other side of those idlers, and that'll give us clearance to fish that side over. Once you get that side in, you'll just make sure everything's lined up and fill it back up. Now we got it. It's all lined up. Now we'll tighten that nut down and start greasing up that zerk feeding, and that'll put tension on this. So when you start filling it up with grease, you want about 3 fingers to fit under these center idlers. That's how tight you want it. Then you'll drive it around for a day or so and re-tighten it back up. And that's it. That's how you install rubber tracks on a skid steer.